call, we have Mike Thomas on the line. Now, Mike is a life coach and also the founder of youarethepath.com. Hi, Mike. How are you?
Hi, Shabs. How's it going?
I'm well, thank you. Great to have you on the call today.
Thanks for inviting me. Looking forward to sharing with you and your listeners.
You're welcome. You're most welcome. So, Mike, to begin with, I would love for you to share with us what actually got you into life coaching.
I guess it all started when a brother of mine shared a Tony Robbins book with me. Tony Robbins, he's a well-known life coach out in the States, and in this book of his, he was talking about changing your physiology, changing how you carry yourself as a way to change your mood and how you think about yourself. And that whole approach was totally new to me at the time, and what I loved about it was actionable. You could take in the information and apply it and experience different results.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you most love about being a life coach?
What I most love is seeing the effect it has on the client. For example, sometimes when we finish a call and they have a breakthrough moment, like an aha moment, and they let go of baggage, and maybe they've shifted their perspective to a perspective that works for them, and they begin to see ways that they can move forwards. Just to experience that with them and to be a part of that just really gives me a buzz, and it just fills me with a lot of energy and enthusiasm.
Sounds great. So as a life coach, what kind of challenges do clients come to you with?
Seems to generally be addiction and attachment, sometimes difficult relationships. They want to move forwards, but they feel blocked somehow. Sometimes it's issues from the past, memories that are holding them back, that kind of stuff.
So, Mike, do you feel you have a particular area of speciality as a life coach?
I tend to work a lot on people's beliefs, helping them to discover their beliefs and helping them to discover their definitions, because you can't experience something without giving it some meaning first. Meaning creates your experience. So, for example, if I said to you, Gungeldank, what do you feel about Gungeldank?
I don't know
Not
what you're
much.
talking about.
Right, exactly, because Gungeldank doesn't have any meaning to you.
Gotcha, right,
So,
okay.
in order to have an experience of something, you have to give it some meaning.
Right.
So, a lot of the times we give something a meaning that doesn't work for us. We give it a definition that is out of alignment with our true natural self. So a lot of the times we work on discovering, well, what does this mean to you? And is that a meaning that is working for you? Where did you pick this meaning up from? Did you pick it up from your society, from your parents, from your culture perhaps? And so we play with perspectives. A lot of the times it only takes for you to shift your perspective of something to begin to free up energy, and to begin to have that feeling of, oh, I don't need to look at it that way anymore. Actually, what if this has come into my life to show me this, or to teach me this, or to help me appreciate this about myself, or to discover this about myself? So I guess you could say that's one area of something that I specialise in.
Yeah, excellent. I like the sound of that. Okay. So, Mike, this channel, it's all about living a life of meaning and purpose. Now, doing work that we love, or being in a job or career that we enjoy, I feel plays a big part in that. Do you feel it's important to earn a living doing work that you love, and are the majority of us are? Do you think the majority of us are actually doing that?
Well, I would say that the vast majority of us aren't doing that. You only have to look at the faces on the early morning commute to work to find that out. I think it is definitely important that you spend some of your time, as much as you can, on something that excites you,
Right.
something that interests you. What I found was when I was working at the gym, at the times when it wasn't really fulfilling me, what I would do is I would bring the books on the topics that do excite me. I would
Wow.
take them to work with me, so I would always be in possession of a book or an article pertaining to what excites me. And
Yeah.
whenever I'd get a 15-minute, half an hour break at work, I would read that, and it gave me that feeling of, this is what I'm interested in, and I'm learning little by little every day. Work is a big part of your life. We spend, a lot of us, 40 hours of our week at work. So
Yeah.
if you're not enjoying your time there, it's going to have an impact on your well-being when you're outside of work.
Yeah, I agree with you, yeah. As a general observation of people around me, I think there are many who find it difficult to do work they love because, like, it might not be easy for them to take time out of everyday busy schedule, say, for example, to start that new business venture or to go back to school, to say, to transition into a career of their choice. They may feel like there's bills to pay, a family to look after, all the basic need to put food on the table and a roof over their heads. What would you say to someone, Mike, who's facing that predicament?
Well, my belief has always been attitude is everything.
Right.
So if you're telling yourself it's going to be too difficult for me to do this, then you're right. If that's what you believe and that's your truth, you're going to experience a world where it's difficult to do that thing. I think really it's more to do with not the resources you have in terms of time, money, and energy.
Right.
It's about resourcefulness.
Interesting. Okay.
When it comes to energy doesn't always come from the body. Another excuse, I call them excuses, that we make is, I don't have the energy.
Right.
Now, when you wake up in the morning, let's say I burst into your bedroom and I said, hey, get out of bed. It might be 5 a.m. You might be like, I don't have the energy to get out of bed.
No.
If I said, listen, there's a suitcase at the end of the road, it's got £50,000 in it. You'd soon find the energy. You'd jump out of bed, you'd
see what you're saying,
get your clothes on, and that tiredness that you thought was so real, where's that gone?
Where's it gone?
Because you're so focused on this
that
reward
50,
that you're going to get. So, we need to look at what we're telling ourselves. But something that stuck with me is something I heard Will Smith talk about.
Yeah.
He said, why be realistic? If we were all realistic, those who were responsible for creating and inventing the plane and creating the light bulb, if they were realistic, they wouldn't have gotten anywhere.
No.
Because before planes were invented, the attitude was, so what? You're just going to bend metal and fly it over the ocean with people in it? Why be realistic?
So, Mike, is life coaching, do you feel it's something that our education system should embrace, say to offer to youngsters at school? And do you think it would benefit the youth of today?
I think it would. I think it would really benefit because it gives you... Because coaching, when it's done well, creates a non-judgmental space in which you can openly share with someone who's not going to judge you, who's not going to say, well, you ought to do this. And it's coaching, when it's done well, asks you open-ended questions,
Right.
and it invites you to come up with your own solutions. It's all based on the premise that we all contain within us the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And so what coaching does is it gives you a space where you can, with the help of a coach, with the prodding of asking certain questions, helps you to come up with your own answer and discover things about yourself that weren't in your conscious awareness. And with self-knowledge, we can change.
Yeah.
We can't change until we know what it is that's getting in our way.
Yeah. So self-knowledge. Yeah, it's the key.
Self-knowledge. Yeah, it's all about self-knowledge. So it's definitely.
And I think if it's sort of starting out at a young age as well, it must be so valuable. Why leave it until you're 40 or 30? Why not start young? I know I would have loved to have those, like you said, those powerful questions. Someone to encourage you to, ask you those questions, and then to really think about them.
Yeah, totally. And with coaching, like when I spend an hour with that client in that week, that sometimes can be the only hour in that week where they've had someone that is dedicating an hour of their time to be totally present,
it's focused
and to
on
be
them.
totally non-judgmental with them, and to give them some positive reinforcement as well, to share in their achievements with them. And so it is very valuable.
Yeah, I agree. Excellent. So, Mike, if there's anyone listening right now, okay, and they're feeling, say, it's too late for them to pursue their dreams, what would you say to them?
Well, the cliche answer is it's never too late. But actually, recently I was watching a program, and it was all about stand-up comedians, and a lot of them didn't develop their career until very later on in life, their early 30s, late 40s, even later in some cases.
Right.
If you focus on something, I think it's all about focus. Even if you look at people who invented things, great inventors, some of them led a life of woe, of personal woe, tragedy throughout their life, and it wasn't until later on in life that they decided to focus on something that they developed and discovered these talents. So again, if you believe it's too late and you tell yourself it's too late, you're right. Mm-hmm. You're going to feel that way, and you'll experience a world where, you missed the boat. So it comes down to, how are you talking to yourself? What do you tell yourself about you throughout the day? Yeah. Because once you start to tell yourself, you know what, I'm interested in this, I'm going to focus on this, I'm going to give it my time and energy, you'll change the way you feel about it, and you'll no longer believe that it's too late for you. In terms of too late, it won't even matter to you, because you'll be so focused on the present. Too late implies that you have a story that says, oh, I should have done it then. And you've got this feeling of wanting to go back. So it also, being in the present moment also plays a part in that. So you just got to be aware of what you're telling yourself.
Okay, that's great. How do you relax, by the way?
How do I relax? Well...
Do you relax? I'm sure you do.
You got to relax. You got to relax the body. You got to let go sometimes. And my favourite way to let go is to be in nature. And when I'm out in nature, I find that it's a great way to slow down the inner chatter. Because we all carry around, we're like a walking narrative.
Right.
We carry around the story of me, the story of how my life is going. And along with that comes a running commentary on all the things that you've got to get done that day.
Yeah.
And he said this to me yesterday, and I'm going to say this to him today, and well, I should have said that to him, and we go through all this inner chatter.
Right.
And when I'm out in nature, I find it easier to find the stillness. And when I'm in that place of stillness, that inner chatter falls away. When I'm out in nature, it's like I'm tuning into that inner child that isn't really thinking about the past and isn't overly concerned about the future.
Yeah.
A lot of our problems stem from trying to cope with something that may or may not happen.
Yeah.
Another thing about being in nature is I just have that feeling of just letting go.
Yeah.
It's like the feeling when you dip into a nice hot bath.
Nice warm bath, yeah.
It's a feeling of
Yeah.
It feels good for the body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So those are all ways that you can begin to let go of the concerns and the worries about the day, because hey, let's face it, we all die in the end.
True. Yeah.
We're all going to die. We only have a certain amount of time here. The things that we're attached to, we're going to have to let go of them someday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yes, thought is important. We need to plan, and there is a place for the internal dialogue.
Yeah.
But we just don't want for it to be running on automatic all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It is very important to be able to put thought down and put it away for when you're not using it. It's like shoes. You put your shoes on when you want to go outside on the street to walk. When you come in and you're relaxing in the living room, you take your shoes off. You're not saying shoes are bad or thought is bad or ego is bad. It's just knowing when to use it and being able to put it down when you want to put it down.
Yeah.
But what's happened is we don't know how to stop thought. Relaxation for me is also not just something I do for my recreation, it's also a practice. So Qigong and yoga is like a daily practice of learning to relax. Some of us, we don't know how to relax, we don't know how to switch off. Mm-hmm. So I find that yoga and Qigong is a great way to begin to learn how to relax. You begin to remember how to relax.
Are there any people that have influenced your life in a big way? And if so, how?
Wow. One of my great mentors has been Bashar. And he talks about following your excitement to the best of your ability at any given moment. And he also teaches that you don't need to have one specific passion in life. You may have many passions in life. You may be passionate about writing, but you're also passionate about speaking. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you might feel excited about speaking, sometimes you're not excited about doing that and you feel like you want to write. But then if you feel that you need to have one specific passion, you might think, no, even though I'm not excited about this, I've committed to it, so I need to do it. Yeah, there is a place for commitment, but having said that, I found that when I act on that excitement, it does guide me through life.
Yeah.
So the principle is that your excitement is the guiding principle. It is what will guide you to where you need to be in order for you to be your true natural self. Mm-hmm. So what Bashar shares with me is that success is being yourself.
Right. Okay.
And sometimes being yourself might mean falling flat on your face.
So is that how you define success? Just being yourself? If I asked you that.
Just be yourself.
Love
Whenever
that.
you're being yourself, how do you feel?
Marvelous. Great.
Yeah, you feel you're in the right place, you're where you need to be, you're just being yourself in the best way that you know how.
Yeah.
And when you're being yourself, you'll find that you're expressing yourself how you want to express yourself.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I just find it a beautiful way to move through life, because one of my challenges in life has been to let go of perfectionism. Wanting everything to be perfect and feeling like if I'm not perfect at it, I can't do it.
All right, okay.
You know, it's the... If you have that attitude, you'll never do anything. You gotta just allow yourself to be at the level that you're at. If you allow yourself to be at the level that you're at and engage with whatever it is you're wanting to get involved with, then you'll be able to grow into what you will eventually become. So the idea is you are the stepping stone that's going to take you to the next step. So when you tell yourself that you're not good enough, you remove the stepping stone. So self-esteem and feeling that you're good enough as you are is so important. We need to be reminded, hey, you're good enough as you already are.
Yeah.
You don't need to go out and have a successful career in order to feel like you're enough. The very fact that you exist already is
amazing.
Impact. The very fact that you exist, you already have impact. Anything that you can do in life, all it does is demonstrate the impact that you already have.
Wow.
Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers.
Okay, yeah.
Great, fantastic book. I would recommend everyone read that book if you feel that fear is holding you back. Just to summarise what I learnt from that book, Susan talks about the 5 fear truths. And one of the fear truths is the fear goes away when you do it.
Right.
A lot of the times we say to ourselves, when I feel better about myself, then I'll do that thing.
Yeah.
But the feeling better about yourself will come when you do the thing.
Right.
So don't wait to feel good about yourself before doing it. Do it, and then you'll start to feel good about yourself.
I love that, yeah.
The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I found that a fantastic book. He talks about being in the present moment, detaching yourself from that inner dialogue, from the voice of the ego, and being in the present moment. You know, a lot of the times the ego becomes just like a monkey on our back. It's always telling us we're not good enough, that I need to get a 6-pack. You know, it's always building this idea of this image. And it keeps you in a state of feeling like you can't be happy until you attain a certain image or you have a certain bank balance. So he talks about that, and he shares ways of getting yourself into the now where you can begin to let go of all that chatter. And when you've let go on that chatter, that's when you discover who you really are. And then you might find out, yeah, I wanted a 6-pack, but it wasn't really what I needed, and it wasn't really me. It was my need to feel good enough.
And how would you suggest one goes about becoming more in the now? You know, would you suggest any tools like yoga or meditation? Or
I think being in the body.
Okay.
And yeah, you're right, yoga and Tai Chi is a great way to get into the body and begin to become aware of what's going on in the body. When you're doing yoga, it's as though you didn't really do much. If someone asked you, hey, what did you do? You might say, oh, well, yeah, I stood like this for a bit, and then I was like this, and then I was like that. You're focusing your attention on holding a certain pose, so all your attention is focused on keeping your balance.
Yeah.
So you don't have time to worry about what happened or what may happen. At least that's the idea.
For that moment. Otherwise you would just be like all over the place, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the idea once you've developed the practice. In the beginning, you might be in the middle of the yoga class thinking, blow my neck, this is hard. Or,
what am I doing?
or you might be thinking, I might have this for tea later on.
Exactly.
But the more you recognise, I was thinking about what I was going to have for tea then, I'm meant to be focused on the posture. It becomes a practice of taking yourself out of the thoughts and bringing it back to the body. Or in the case with Tai Chi, you bring the attention back to the breath.
Right.
And so that really tunes you into the present moment. It helps you to appreciate the very small and subtle things in life.
Yeah.
You know, if you develop this ability of stillness, if you're a poet, you become a better poet. If you're a school teacher, you become a better school teacher. If you're a footballer, you become a better footballer. It will seep into all areas of your life. You become a better friend, a better husband, a better lover.
So Mike, is there anything further you'd like to add to this conversation that you feel we haven't quite touched on, that you'd like to share with the rest of us?
So I guess I could say more about resourcefulness rather than the resources that you have and what you do with what you have. I'm reminded by something that I heard KRS-One say. He's a hip-hop artist, and I really resonate strongly with him. He said, hip-hop isn't about having more. It's about what you do with less.
Wow, okay.
It's about what you do with what you've got.
Wow.
And when I think about that, my brother used to always tell me, Mike, you've got the brain. You've already got the most powerful computer known to man.
Yeah.
It's what you do with your brain.
Right.
And at that time, I was down and out. I was addicted to cannabis. I dropped out of university. I didn't know who I was or where I was going in life, and it started to get me to think in terms of, it's what I do. It's what I do with what I've got. And I used to like watching Van Damme movies at the time, Van Damme, the martial artist. And if you watch those movies, a lot of the times he's the underdog in that movie. There's a scene in one of his movies where he's incarcerated and he wants to get strong so that he can break out of this prison that he's in. And he uses everything around him as his weight training. He uses the bathtub, starts doing deadlifts, bicep curls
ambitious,
with the bathtub.
Right?
Yeah, so, but what I get from that is using everything around you. Like, we live in the information age.
Wow.
You've got Google at your fingertips. There really is, in my view, no excuses. You know, a lot of the times we stick up for our limitations.
Yeah.
You know, we say, I don't have enough time. You know, I don't have this. I didn't have this upbringing. My parents, they didn't know how to instill me with self-esteem. We always stick up for our limitations. Why?
Yeah.
It's the information age. You want to find something out. You want to learn something. You've got it. If you're watching this video, chances are you've got access to the internet. If you want to learn it, now is such a great time to be alive in many ways. And I often say that, you know, there are people in parts of the world, they would bite your arm off to be
Yeah, your
living
position.
where you're living.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. The opportunities that we have in the West right now are unlike anything you can get in certain parts
Yeah.
of the world right now. And a lot of the times you'll hear stories of people who come from parts of the world who arrive here on scholarships,
Yeah.
and they work damn hard.
So hard, yeah.
And it's like,
What's my excuse?
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
Oftentimes they put this, and they have to pay more for the university,
Yeah.
so they're often holding down full-time jobs whilst they're studying at the same time. So yeah, it really, you got to start thinking in terms of, okay, what do I have and how can I use it to the maximum? And you've got the brain, and the brain is more powerful than anything we know of
Yeah.
right now. Use it. That's what I would say.
Thank you, Mike. That's great. So, Mike, if anyone listening right now wants to find out a little bit more about you, where can they go?
Yeah, so they can go to my website, youarethepath.com.
Yep.
I've got links there to my YouTube channel
All right.
and my Facebook. I've got a ton of videos on YouTube expanding on what I've shared today.
Okay.
That'll be the best place to connect with me.
Excellent. Thank you. So we'll also be putting those links just below this video, so that's so that people can actually follow through on that. Thank you, Mike, for sharing your path with us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me onto your channel. I enjoyed sharing with yourself and your listeners.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, so thank you. And I would also like to thank all you guys out there for watching, and I shall see you soon with more fun insights and chit chat.